Wow. Okay, I'm going to take you through a session that we're doing in the early competitive phase, and I'm going to talk through some of the drills, activities and ways and means which we use to develop competitive readiness.
This session took place early June 2021.
After warming up and the athletes doing a few of their own stretches and mobilisations, we then do some basic drills. We always keep these going throughout the season to maintain some basic condition and act as a pre-training, pre-conditioning element. The heels. That's it. Good, Adam, use your arms. After those, we do some drills to work on foot contacts and keeping plyometric ability there, enhancing leg stiffness, for example. Get your arms to swing, good.
Jay would be competing at the Under-23 England Championships the following weekend, so we worked on some specific areas such as his arm swing and foot strike, which would hopefully help.
Then it was on to pit work, and here I have to decide what each jumper is going to work on specifically, which can be difficult when you've got a mix of long and triple jumpers and people at different stages of development.
Adam is an under-20 long jumper who's jumped 690 in the past but hasn't really trained very much, so he's just getting back into it. Along the ways, he's somehow developed a rather odd takeoff action, almost a double arm action for his hang technique. More on that later. With Jay, it was working on various elements of his technique, notably his swinging of the arms and his thigh drive in the step phase. On this one, he pulled his arm around too quickly and it pulled him down onto the track surface. With Adam and the use of the mats, we were trying to get him to hold his takeoff drive for longer before pulling back into the hang. So positively, he runs pretty quickly through the mats and gets a reasonable drive off of the board. On his second effort, Jay bounced up a bit out of the step. Now I think this is a positive sign. It shows that he's beginning to adapt to the training and that his legs are getting more reactive, but he wasn't used to it, wasn't ready for it, and so he wasn't able therefore to swing through forwards into the jump phase. So you can see he kind of pops up and his left arm crosses right across him, which doesn't help. Meanwhile, Adam was getting more confident with his approach and his attack through the board. You'll see the sand marks on the track, which helps me identify where he might be misstepping coming in. As I've said, that arm action needs some work. So here's Jay's third effort, and you can see that it's pretty good. It keeps going forwards. I got a bit overexcited with this one, but it was a good distance off of the steps for him and in relation to his personal best. But you can see he moves forwards and his foot contact into the jump is much more positive than it has been in the past. He tried to go a little bit flatter on this effort and it was perhaps a little bit snatchy, but the distance was about the same, maybe even further. So we've got a nice drive off of the hop and range, thigh movement forwards, push of the foot out into contact with the jump phase, and not a too bad execution for the jump. This front-on shot shows you what I mean about Adam's odd arm action for his hang. Both his hands come through in front of him and then he reverses them overhead. For reference, I recall the former Soviet athlete Robert Emian, who jumped 884 at altitude using a similar arm action. So, something else, again, that I need to look into.
If you would like information on the free lap timing system, which is accurate to 2/1000ths of a second and is extremely portable and works via Bluetooth and your smart device, then do get in contact with me.
I mentioned about the use of the lines earlier on, and there are plenty of videos on the channel that show you how to use them, but they really do help. Adam was going to do his first competition for a while at the weekend and he didn't have a run-up, so we established a 16-step one. Ultimately, I think 18 steps will be ideal for the next year or two once he's got more training under his belt. Jay had had a good session and his last effort was pretty good too. However, he was a bit up and down on the phases and could benefit from more swinging. of the thigh and of the arms. We are definitely trying to get him, as he comes out of the hop phase, to swing his free thigh forwards whilst at the same time swinging his arm away, his left arm. So he starts to do it, but again it's perhaps a little bit more up and down rather than out. A senior member of the group, Paul, was also jumping, and after a couple of efforts he was beginning to get into a rhythm and extend further off the takeoff. That's why this last effort of his was his best. He accelerates well into the board. We've been working on getting the feet down and also driving the free thigh away at takeoff, then having a slight delay before pulling back into a hitch, which isn't perfect, but on this effort everything was pushed further back. So he achieved a much better takeoff drive.
So I hope that insight into a training session will help you and your training and give you some thoughts and ideas. And as usual, good luck with any competitions that you've got coming up. And do leave any comments you may have in the section below or through my other social media.
Coach Athlete channel members should look out for a really detailed video including session plans for what I do over a 2-week cycle this time of the year.
Hello, I'm John Shepherd and I'm going to talk to you about channel memberships. At the moment I've set up 2 levels, channel supporter and athlete and coach member. Now if you become a channel supporter, you're doing just that. For just £1.99 a month, you're going to help me produce the content that's hopefully helped you become a better athlete or a coach. As a coach athlete member, I've responded to a lot of the comments that I've had over the years since setting up the channel, whereby you guys want to delve into deeper levels, the subject matters that we cover on the main channel. So for example, coaches want to know more about periodization, training planning, and how you can develop a young athlete.